questions ready. Get your questions ready. I know we just started the stream. I had to turn this on. So let's get our questions ready. By the way, my new book is out. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's a digital book. You can download it immediately. And for our release, we're doing 75% off. So you can literally go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio. Right now, you got about 30 minutes while we're on. You could download your book immediately for 75% off. Or you can scan the QR code or go to DeShonsBook.com. How do you get around negative equity in the trade-in? Great question. Send your questions in, y'all. Let's get busy. Negative equity. Negative equity on a trade-in. It's only two things you could do with negative equity if you want a car. Negative equity, for anybody who doesn't know, means you owe more on your car than it's worth. So your car might be worth $20,000, you owe $24,000. That means you have $4,000 of negative equity. What do we do if we want to get a new car with that? That can only be transferred or paid off. Don't ever believe anyone when they say, oh, we'll take care of that. No, it can only be transferred to the next car, either all of it or some of it, or paid off. Now, here's what you want to do. Shout out to the sharers. Could everybody hit the share button? Because we about to go real deep financially. If you care about your people, if you care about people in general, hit the share button so that someone else is aware of what we're about to talk about right now. So when you have negative equity, the key is making sure, how do I know I'm really getting, you pay attention, write this down, y'all. If you got a pen, write it. If not, watch the rebroadcast. If not, get my book. You need to, a lot of times, you people are thinking they have negative equity based on what the dealer told them their car is worth. So in my last scenario, I just said, what if your car is worth 20? Well, we don't believe our car is worth 20 because a dealer told us it's worth 20. We believe it's worth 20 because we got cash offers. Remember this, from this day forward, you're going to get cash offers on your car. You are not going, because these companies pay more than dealerships. CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, AutoNation. AutoNation gets dealers to bid on your car. AutoNation is a group of dealers. What it is a big auto group, and they get dealers to bid on the car. Same thing with Kelly's Blue Book, instant cash offer. Listen, y'all, never use kellysbluebook.com to figure out what your car is worth. We don't use algorithm sites to figure out what our car is worth. If you want to know what your car is worth, you take 15 minutes, you go to those sites that I just named, and you find out what they're going to pay you cash today for your car. That is the real indicator of what your market value is. Now, once you have that number, we call our bank, we find out what our payoff is. That's how much we owe. And once you find out your payoff and you have your offers, you'll know if you have negative equity or positive equity. But in that case, we must decide, if we have negative equity, are we going to pay the difference? And some of you, if you only got $1,000 or $2,000 of negative equity, it's much better for you to pay the difference, sell that car to CarMax, Driveway, pay the difference, so that when you go to shop for your car, you just make a nice, smooth, clean transaction. If you can pay the difference from the highest bidder to what you owe, that's the best thing. You got a couple thousand, that's the best way, because no one else is going to offer you that much money like these other companies will. So that's how you can only transfer that negative equity over, pay the difference, or you got to wait. Some of you, 8, 10,000, 12,000 of negative equity, you got to wait. You got to pay that. You got to pay that down. You can't transfer that type of money over to a vehicle because you're not going to get approved. So 2 situations where you can't get a car: too much negative equity, you got to wait, or super bad credit, got to wait. If both, you got to wait. 5,000 negative equity, John Doe, isn't horrible. You could the sites are, somebody asked what's the sites: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, AutoNation, KBB, instant cash offer, and CarMax. Did I say CarMax? CarMax should be 5 of them. And I would throw Car Gurus in there. Car Gurus Sell My Car Now has an option for that too. That's what we're talking about, Thomas. I'm telling you right now, it's not a matter of I have negative equity, please help. Let's stay sober. Let's deal with what we can control. Can y'all shoot up the likes? Can everybody on TikTok just start tapping the screen so we can shoot the likes up? I appreciate you all. If you're getting value out of this, please share or tag somebody that you care about. But it's not a matter of getting crazy. It's a matter of what can I do? If you have negative equity, that's what you can do. I can transfer this. If I want a new car, the only thing I could do is pay the difference or transfer the negative equity. If I have too much negative equity, when I buy my next car, they're not going to let me transfer all that negative equity over, because the bank's only going to lend a certain amount of money on a car. If the car is $20,000, with good credit, they might lend you 26. They might lend you 20% of the value of the car above it. That's called loan to value ratio. They might lend you 26, which means your taxes got to be in there. Your fees got to be in there. Any negative equity that you got put in there. See, the only people who are going to have a problem, who's going to have a real problem transferring negative equity, is when you want to do no money down deals. We do no money down deals all the day long. When you read my book, when you learn from my videos, most of the time we're doing no money down deals. Only time it makes sense to really put money down is when we're buying a car, we're going to keep it a long time, and we want to make sure we lower the amount that we're going to be borrowing, or we want to pay it off quick. But in cases where like we're leasing, we say, okay, we get a great lease deal, no money down. I'm not going to put any money down. If I could get the payment where I want it with no money, that's where I'm doing that. So when you try to do no money down deals with negative equity, you're going to have an issue depending on how much negative equity you have. Because if the car is 20, for example, taxes are another 2, fees are another, let's estimate 1,000, that's 23. Now, the bank's only going to approve 25, max 26. I mean, you only got a couple thousand before you're above the loan to value ratios. If you got $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 negative equity, that's not going to work. You got to go to a higher price car, unfortunately. Many of you should be going from negative equity to a lease, because that's the cause of your negative equity in most cases. You're switching cars while you still have loans on them, and you don't understand leasing. That's your problem. If we were going to get real deep right now, which I won't, because I want to get to more questions, that's if I'm going to diagnose your problem, I could tell you how to cure the cancer, I could treat the cancer, but and then I could tell you how to cure the cancer. What's causing the cancer? Well, that's just the cause. You buy cars, you don't keep them, you take out loans, you trade them in, and you don't understand leasing. That's why you have negative equity. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Currently deciding, should I pay the negative equity? It's $8,000. Yeah, MRO. It's a tough position. It's not easy. Again, once you see that you could either transfer it, pay the difference, or you got to pay it down, that'll at least help you to decide which way to go. All 3 of those are in my book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Get your copy for 75% off. It is our book launch sale. So while it's on sale for 75% off, go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio, and get your copy for 75% off. Go to DeShansBook.com, scan the QR code, get it. It's all in there. But I'll be talking about that. This is a very common subject that we will never stop talking about. What is the general credit requirement for leasing? Good question. Somebody asked, what's credit requirements for leasing? It's not usually about score. Biggest thing you could have is a good score. 680 or better really keeps you out of the manipulation zone where, somebody might approve you and say, oh, you're approved tier 4. We don't want that. You don't want to go in and shop your lease and they tell you payments $400. And then when they submit you to the banks, you get approved and they say you're tier 4. Now your payment goes up to $550. So I call that the manipulation zone. When you're in that 660, 650, 640 score range, that's it's easy to manipulate. Now, the way we get around that is we always have backup offers. So if somebody tried to manipulate us, we got to go to the backup offer and make sure that because they could be telling the truth that we really are approved tier 4, or they could just be trying to take a shot at us to make some more money on us. But when it comes to credit profile, you want score first, Payment history second. If you got a car that you paid on time for the last year, 2 years, usually it's easier for you to get approved for a car. Nothing tells a bank that you're going to pay your car payment like a history of paying your car payment. So with Mercedes, you could literally have your whole life crashing down around you. You could have credit cards late, but if you paid Mercedes on time, they will approve you almost every time. We've had that happen. Like when I was at the dealership, y'all don't know if some of you, this is your first time seeing me. I worked for Mercedes for 5 years. I worked for General Motors for 5 years. I was in the car business for 14 years. And we would certainly have people who would come in, call them, Deshaun, man, the credit's not where it was when I got my last car. And I said, listen, how was the payments on the Mercedes? And always on time. I never missed a payment, but my credit card, whatever. Mercedes was approving them. So those payment history, those are the two, car payment history and score, weigh the biggest, I would say, in your profile. Now, the secondary things are like how long you've been on your job, how long you've lived at your place, how much money you make, can you prove that money? Are you employed? Are you self-employed? These are kind of the secondary things that that the banks look at. But those two things weigh the heaviest for sure. It's no hard, fast rule. It's just, profile. Thanks for the knowledge. Hey, Michael, I'm currently shopping for a vehicle. You've helped me tremendously. Appreciate you, man. This is what we're here for. Anybody that will listen, you're going to save thousands listening to me. So anybody who's willing to listen, this is all we do. We got people all around the country that I'm blessed to work with. Somebody like this, Danielle. Danielle leased an Audi. I'm showing it. You can't see it on TikTok, but it's on the other platform. Danielle leased her Audi. She got $550 a month. First payment down, including maintenance, gap insurance, all the fees. $44,175 car, y'all. Just so you understand. For those of you who were taught never to lease, who was taught never to lease? Be honest. I want you to type me if you were taught never to lease. The more you learn from me, you'll see that advice has cost you thousands of dollars. Sorry to tell you, whoever told you that owes you money. They do. Because for people who are not keeping their cars 8 years, you are losing thousands of dollars not leasing, because depreciation is killing you. When you buy your cars, they're killing you. The only way to win with a car long-term is to keep it long-term. You can't win with a car short-term. 3, 4, 5 years, they lose too much value. Unless you buy cheap cars. I always want to get a caveat because somebody on here like, Deshaun, I buy cars, Facebook Marketplace, $5,000. I ain't never lost on them. That's different. That's different. That's a different strategy. $5,000, $7,000 cars, different strategies. I'm talking about people that buy mainstream cars, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. You're losing thousands of dollars compared to somebody like Danielle. She's driving a $44,000 Audi, $550 a month. That same car, $44,000, if she purchased it, no money down, her payment's $900. Y'all know what's the rule of thumb? Every $5,000 is how much per month? Let's see who's been with me for a little while, who knows this. Every $5,000 you borrow is how much per month? I'm gonna see if anybody chimes in before I say it. Thank you. Miss Rez, DM me. You got a free copy of the book. Miss Rez, DM me. I'm gonna give you a free copy of the book. If you already got yours, then I'll give it to you. I'll give you the refund back. You came in first. DM me. I'm gonna send you a link to get a free copy of my book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Everybody else, you can get it for 75% off. Click my TikTok bio. Click my Instagram bio. Go to Deshaun'sBook.com or scan the QR code. Get yours for 75% off. But yes, that is it. $100. So when you look at somebody like Danielle, who I just posted up here, who got her car, $44,000 Audi, that vehicle would have cost her $900 a month to purchase it. Now, sometimes you could take a year longer on the loan. Think about that. You go from 5 years to 6 years, and maybe it drops her from 900 to 800. Nothing is going to drop her to what she's paying, 550. That's what I say. Step one in my book, the book is 7 steps. Step one and what I'm going to teach y'all forever is you always need to decide whether I'm buying or leasing. And that had the answer, how do you know that? Something called the 8-year rule. The 8-year rule says, hold on, I got an unstable connection here on TikTok. I don't know why. The 8-year rule says if I'm not keeping a car, and I created this rule, if I don't keep a car 8 years, then I should be leasing it. Because in order for you to win purchasing, you got to keep it 8, 9, 10 years. Compared to somebody like Danielle. Danielle out here driving cars for pennies on the dollar, getting great lease deals. And every lease deal is not created equal. So don't think that these things y'all see on commercials are lease deals. These are not deals. These are they ain't deals. They're not deals. Put it like that. They're not good deals. So don't ever look at a commercial and say, well, it's actually better if I buy it. They want $7,000 down. You saw what Danielle did. $550 a month, no money down. So I was watching you this morning. I'm about to buy a car and I hate it. Listen, Lala, I appreciate it. If you use what we teach, you will love it as much as you can. You will love it. You have to change the process. What I want y'all to have, shout out to everybody hitting the screen. Could y'all keep tapping the screen on TikTok? Let's keep the likes going up. Everybody watching, we're on 4 platforms right now. You must have your process. The process of dealerships, y'all, I'm from that world. I was there for 14 years. The process is a $1 billion process. The marketing, the commercials, the coming at the end of the month, coming at the end of the year. Imagine being in business, y'all, where you have programmed your customers so well that you knew every day at a certain time or every month at a certain time, this place is going to be packed. Imagine that. That's the car business. The car business has, through marketing and through the things they've done, programmed the public to say, oh, I'm going to come at the end of the month. I'm going to come at the end. I'm going to go on a Saturday. We're not getting better deals when we're going in when everyone else is going in. So just understand, in order for you to win the way I want you to win, and it's going to be easy, it won't be hard. What's hard is doing it that way. What's hard is being a part of that system in that game. You step out of that and you shop your way, which is my way. And you try my way. I've had thousands of people since 2021 try my way of shopping, and the majority of them will never go back to the old way. And we shop from home. We get bids. And so when you start doing that, Lala, you're going to find that you're enjoying the process as much as you should be. Daggone shame you're going out here and spend $40,000, $50,000 of your own money, and you got to go through a daggone gauntlet and feel like, I got to be abused and daggone beat up to give you $40,000 of my money. Never lease. The limit, how many miles you can drive. Is that true? No, they don't, Thomas. Thomas, this is a big misconception. Thomas just put never lease the limit. And I think you were asking, I think you were asking a question more so making a statement. Because you said, is that true? It's not true. They don't limit your mileage on a lease, y'all. You choose the mileage. Now, if you are driving, the only people who should not be leasing if they're not keeping their cars 8 years are people who either the ones that buy cheap cars, like I talked about, or the people who you're doing Uber, you're doing DoorDash. Basically, you don't know how many miles are going to be on the car. The more, the better. If I'm doing Turo or Uber, I would hope to get 30, 40,000 miles a year on my car. I hope it's that busy. I hope it's used that much, but I can't guarantee it. So that's not a good thing. But if you have a predictable lifestyle, somewhat, and you can predict roundabout how many miles a year you're going to drive, you're fine. And not only are you fine, even if you're a little off, the money that you pay getting great lease deals is still much lower than you purchase it. So you choose your mileage. Every brand I think has 10,000 miles per year available. Most brands have 12,000 miles a year. Most brands have 15,000 miles a year. But you can build most leases up to 30,000 miles per year. I remember a guy, I was a manager for Hyundai for a very short period of time. I ended up working for a guy, he ended up going to jail. But it was a good experience, 6 weeks. I was a manager. We did very well. It was my first time experiencing a person bringing their lease back. He had 75,000 miles on it. So this was my first time seeing who's a high mileage driver, type HM, if you're a high mileage driver. I want y'all to understand leasing has nothing to do with the mileage you drive. When this person brought all right, so pay attention to this because y'all lose more money than almost anybody because you kill the value of your cars. You buy them, which means you're investing in them. Whatever their worth is, you owe. If it's worth 20, you could go sell it and make 20. If it's worthless, then it's worth nothing. When you put 200,000 miles a year on a car in 3 years, in 4 years, you've destroyed the car's value, at least most of it, right? So the last thing you want is to be invested in that car. I paid 30,000 for it. Now I'm about to destroy the value. So this thing is going to be worth 5,000 in 3 years. This person dropped off his car. He had 75,000 miles on it. It was 3 years old. I said, you leased this? And I'm shocked. See, I'm learning. I'm learning. I love being in the car business and learning why things happen and better financial ways to do things. And so I'm like, you leased this? And he's like, yeah, I once I figured out that I could lease, I pay, $150, $200 more per month, but I could drive my 25,000 miles a year. That $150 a month I was paying was way less than I would lose if I owned this car, bought it, and put the kind of miles on it that I'm putting. See, he understood depreciation. He understood something that I'm trying to help you understand. Depreciation is what kills you. You think you don't pay for the mileage you drive. People have said to me, Deshaun, man, I like to drive as much as I want. I don't want to pay for the miles, so I buy. You pay for the miles, whether you buy or lease. If somebody put a brand new car, I see you, MRO. Thanks for buying the book. Enjoy it, use it, and I can't wait to hear your success story. If somebody puts a car outside, parks it outside, brand new car, $50,000 car outside your house right now. If you don't drive it 1 mile and you go out there a year later, is it worth 50,000, y'all? Is it worth? Somebody park a brand new $50,000 vehicle right outside your house. You don't touch it. You go out there a year later. Is that car worth $50,000? Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. That's the intro. That's the lesson on depreciation. You see what I'm saying? So if you stay in that vein of understanding, you're now getting close to understanding how depreciation works and understanding that what do I do to make sure that I pay the least amount of depreciation possible? The way you win against depreciation is to keep the car forever. Who buys their cars and keeps them 8, 12, 15 years? Type keeper. You're that's what we call a keeper. When we buy a car and we're going to keep it 8, 10, 12, 15 years, that's a keeper. That's a keeper. Type keeper if that's you. If you notice one thing about keepers, you notice how you never worry about resale value? As soon as it was titled, that's right, Chris. You notice when you're a keeper, you never worry about resale value. Could everybody hit the share button? If you are enjoying this, keep lighting up the likes on TikTok. I appreciate it. Could everybody keep tapping the screen? And could everybody share this with one person? They will thank you. You never worry about resale value when you are buying a car to keep, because you are going to outlive the depreciation, whatever value it loses. One day it'll be worth $2,000 and you'll just probably give it to a family member. But I'm here to tell y'all that if you're in that 2, 3, 4 year, 5 year period, your vehicle's going down in value so much every year, whether you drive it or not, you are losing money daily. So if you're losing money daily, when you put 20,000 miles a year on the car, you're losing more daily. So we need to understand leasing allows, going back to this person, leasing allows you to pay for your depreciation up front, build it in and say, I'm going to get me a lease deal where I pay less to lease this car than I would have paid if I owned it for over a 3 year period of time. And that's what the people who get great lease deals do. That's all in the book. I'm going to teach you leasing. I'm going to teach you purchasing, brand new. I'm going to teach you purchasing used. We'll go over purchasing with cash, strategy for that. High mileage driving, strategy for that. There's 3 different routes you want to go if you're a high mileage driver that are better than what most of you are doing. If you're a high mileage driver, here's what you tend to do. Buy your cars, take out 5 or 6 year loans, put a ton of miles on them, come back in a couple years, trade them in, and you always got 10 grand negative equity. Always. The only way you don't is if instead of taking a 5 or 6 year loan, you might take a 3 year loan or 4 year loan. So you paying the car off quicker, but you ain't getting the money back. You're not getting the money back. You just putting more money into the car, but you're not getting the money back at the end. When you go to trade it, you might just break even because you had a short, but look how much money you threw at the car. And some of you might put 10 grand down, 15 grand down to cover your negative equity. I've been around so many high mileage, I've made so many high mileage deals. I know it. It's predictable. That's what happens. Those 3 things happen. The better route is to do what my man is doing, what I told you about, which is a high mileage lease, or you buy one car, you pay that car off, and then you lease a nice car, and now you rotating your mileage. I got a nice car that I lease for 12,000 miles a year. And then I got this other paid off car that I might drive that for 12, 15,000 miles a year. And I got my nice car and I got my mileage car and I got one car payment. So either a high mileage lease or that. For short-term people. If you're a long-term person, Deshaun, I keep my cars 8 years. Then just buy a nice car, put 20, 30,000 miles on it, keep it 8 years, and then replace it. But if you are getting loans and you're not keeping these cars high mileage drivers, y'all got to change your strategy. You're losing so much money. You taught me huge how to get multiple online quotes, but Vroom and Driveway and some are gone now. Yes, Vroom's gone. I haven't gotten the reports that Driveway is gone yet, but I wouldn't be, if they have a similar model, they'll be gone too. You know, unfortunately, if they're operating under the same model that Vroom operated with, they'll be gone too. You know, these people are paying more for cars than dealers pay, and they're reselling them. They're trying to, that's why I always tell y'all in the book, you notice we always have these guys when we shop, this is who we sell our cars to. We don't buy from them until we verify that their price is good, because most of the time they're going to be higher priced. Why? They're paying more for cars than other people. So if Vroom and CarMax and Carvana are paying more to buy cars than dealers and other people, then what's going to happen when they go to sell them? Where are those prices going to be? Higher than most people, right? So that's a hard business model to sustain. So we don't know what's going to happen to these companies, but as of now, we are certainly selling our cars to them. And every time we go to buy, we're looking at their inventory if we're buying a used car every time. What do you think about lease and buy? I don't, Sam, because we're mixing two. That's a great question. Who's had that question come into their mind? Lease to buy or lease to own? Who's heard that? I see somebody asking about branded title. We'll get to that because that's a simple thing. We kind of pass on those. They're like foreclosures, you know. I wouldn't tell you don't buy them, but they are for professionals. And, it's just like going to auctions. There's certain levels of car buying where the majority of the public shouldn't go into it because it's not going to be good for the majority of people in the long run. And buying branded titles and salvage titles, it could lead to more harm than good for the public. So I don't teach it. I don't recommend it. I think there's 80 other ways to find deals and get deals on the market and get below market deals. We get them every day. I got people in Cars from Home University, my video program. I got people all around the country. So I see deals every week. I know what people are paying. I know where the deals are. You don't have to get a branded title to get a deal. So let's talk about that lease to buy. We're mixing two, y'all. The benefits of purchasing, the benefits of buying. Thank you, Classy. The benefits of buying are you can pay off your car and you can have a car with no car payment. You can outlive your depreciation so that, there's some of you who have 8, 9-year-old cars in your driveway. The car is worth about the same as it was a year ago. That means you outlived the depreciation curve. When your car is worth $7,000 and then a year later it's worth $6,500 if you sold it, that means you've outlived the depreciation. The hardest, most dramatic depreciation, it's behind you. That's the reward stage. That's the benefits of ownership, benefits of buying. I paid this car off, whether I paid cash or whether it's a loan, I've outlived the depreciation. Forget the paying off of the car. Sometimes we think we've won because we paid off the car. I want you to see that that's one win, but the big win is not in paying off the car. The big win is, when does this asset stop losing values so much every year? When does it go from losing 10% or losing 15% to losing 5% or 3%? That means I got to own it for a while before I get to that level of winning. Who's at that level? You got a car outside that you've had for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. Type that level. Type that level. See, I want y'all to know, we're answering this question. Somebody asked, what about lease to buy? We're mixing the two. You're not going to get to that level. Paid off car, not losing value. I could get this to my son, my daughter, my spouse. I could just have it. I could donate it. That's where you want to get to on a purchase. Leasing, new car, great deal, $50,000 car. I'm paying pennies on the dollar to drive it. This is the life. I'm pulling up to a traffic light, looking at somebody in the same car. He says, yo, how much you paying? I say, I'm paying $550. He said, man, I'm paying $900. What happened? We got the same exact car. Something's wrong. You put money down? I didn't put any money down. I'm paying $550. You paying $900. Oh, I leased it. Yeah, I leased it for 3 years. Oh, you leased it, but I bought mine. Okay, brother. See you later. Enjoy. We in the same car. $300 more a month coming out your household because somebody taught you should be buying. And you're going to go trade that car in 3 years, 4 years, and do the whole thing over again. Leasing is, I drive a great car, a lot of car for my money, smooth, things are covered. Anything breaks, I'm good. I take it to the dealership. They fixed it. I'm under warranty. Brand new car. I go and I do that again every 3 years. That's the benefit of leasing. So I just told y'all about the benefits of the purchase, getting to that level, paying off the car, getting to the stage where you're losing little value every year, and then the benefits of leasing over here. Now, what's the downfall of each? Downfall of the purchases, downfall of the leases, we always have a payment. So in order to have that type of comfort, that type of assurity, that type of experience, it costs. I can't pay off the car. Secondly, the downfall of purchasing is I have an old car. That's just it. I have an old car, no warranty. I'm on the hook for whatever goes wrong. I don't have the latest and greatest features. That's the downfall. So both have their pros and cons. Here's where we really lose when we mix those two. I'm gonna lease a car for 3 years, then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna purchase it, usually with a loan, for 5 or 6 years. just so we know, most people who are buying their leases, you're doing 3 years on the lease, and then you buy it with a loan, 5 years or 6. That means you're paying on the same car for 8 or 9 years. Now, only time it makes sense is if you say, I'm gonna buy my lease, because all you're doing when you buy your lease is buying a used car. That's all it is. So your lease, to buy your lease, it better be a good deal. We always got to check before we buy our leases to even see if it's a good deal compared to other used cars. But if we verify it's a good deal, all it is we buying a used car. And the worst part about it is we're not even excited about the car no more because we've been driving it for 3 years. At least when we go out now and we just buy a fresh used car, a fresh pre-owned car, it's still new to us, right? It's still, you still get that thrill like, man, got me a new car, upgraded. When you buy your lease, you don't even get that. You start a fresh 5 or 6 year loan, most people will, and you're not even excited because you've been in the car for 3 years. So you're probably going to trade out of it in 2 years. Here's the bad part though. If you buy your lease and then trade out of it in 2 years, but you had a 4-year loan, a 6-year loan, you still got 4 years of payments left. I used to experience this all the time, y'all. Everything I'm telling y'all came from my experience in the dealerships for 14 years, seeing people in horrible positions and asking them, how did you get in this position? What the heck happened? Somebody walked into the dealership with a 5-year-old car and he's like, yeah, I had this car since it was new. I'm like, oh, okay, you want to trade it? Perfect. I go and I look at how much the car is worth. It might be worth 18. Then I call the bank and ask them how much they owe. And the bank says, oh, he owes 18. And I'm like, how the heck could you owe 18 if you've already had this car for 5 years? That doesn't make sense, right? You would think if somebody bought a car brand new and they had it for 5 years, it would be paid off, right? Yes or yes, or almost paid off. But I would call the bank and they're like, yo, yeah, this person owes 18 grand. And I'm like, and then they tell me I leased it for 3 years and then I purchased it with a loan. So let's add that up, sir. If you leased it for 3 years and then how long is your loan? 6 years. Okay. Which is fine on a used car. There's nothing wrong with a 6-year loan on a used car, 5-year loan. But when you're buying your lease with a 6-year loan, you've already paid 3. So now 6 plus 3 is 9, which means that person comes in after 5 years of having that car and they want to trade it. They still have 3 years of payments left. It's the only way I've seen it happen because no smart person signs up for a 9-year loan. Nobody does. But when we buy our leases, we are just committing to years and years and years of payments on the same car. So you're much better off sticking to your lane, remembering the 8-year rule, y'all. Remember the 8-year rule. If I'm not keeping a car 8 years, you might not understand it yet. That doesn't matter. If I'm not keeping a car 8 years, I'm going to save thousands of dollars getting a great lease deal. If I'm not keeping my car 8 years, this next car you're buying, if you're not keeping it 8 years, you are going to pay thousands more by purchasing a new car. Now, some of you might say, Deshaun, I'm gonna buy a used car. You are going to pay about the same money as a person who leases. About the same money. I've done the math. If anybody's been to my masterclass, you know I spent about 20 minutes on this showing y'all video, showing y'all side-by-side comparisons about how leasing and buying a used car over a 6-year period, you spend about the same amount of money, except the person leasing drives a brand new car every 3 years, and the person who's purchasing the used car is driving a 6 or 9-year-old car by the time it's paid off. So it's just I don't want to say trust me because I like to show y'all, but if you don't understand the 8-year rule yet, then your goal should be, man, I got to learn more about that 8-year rule because it sounds like Deshaun is pretty convicted that if you're, you just can't compare. A person who's getting these lease deals that I'm teaching them to get, you can't compare what it costs to buy those same cars. What do you do after 8 years? Well, no, you decide, Katie, whatever your next car you're going to get, you ask yourself, am I buying this car to keep more than 8 years, or am I going to keep it less than 8 years? If your answer is less than 8 years, then your next car should be a lease. You should be shopping for an aggressive lease deal. If you say more than 8 years, then you can buy. You should not lease. You're going to lose by leasing. Long-term people lose by leasing. Short-term people lose by buying. All in the book. You can go to DeShonsBook.com. Get my new book, digital book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Everything we've talked about in this broadcast so far, everything we will talk about is in there. All my strategies for shopping are in there step by step. And you can get yours for our book release. It's 75% off for, I think, 30 minutes. While you're watching, go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio, click that link, and then click the one that says 75% off. Download your book so you don't have to remember any of this. You don't have to remember. You'll have a strategy guide, a reference guide to help you. And just so you know, my book is broken down into 7 steps. It's not something you read and then you go implement. It's something you do each step. By the time you get to step 7 is delivery. So you shouldn't even be reading step 7 in my book if you ain't getting ready to have the dealer deliver the car to you, or you ain't getting ready to go take delivery. So I say the same thing in my video library. People, we got the same thing. When you get to day 7, I'm congratulating you on a job well done. Step 7 is we're at the finish line. Let's get our paper. You know, step 6 is paperwork. So step 7 is here we go. You did it. So you should not be at step 7 if you have not. You know, it's not a book you read it and then say, all right, it's time to take a test. No, it's an action guide, step by step. So you can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can go to my TikTok or Instagram bio, click the link to get your copy, or you could go to DeShonsBook.com, all for 75% off. Okay, how do you feel about electric vehicles? Great question. Great question. Electric vehicles, you just got to make sure you're getting a good one. Same thing with gas vehicles. As long as you are ready for the ownership of an electric vehicle, which means I need to know where I'm charging this thing. I need to know gas. Not gas mileage. I need to know battery capacity. How many miles can I drive? Make sure I'm not jammed up with that. But other than that, you need to check. We do a Google search on every vehicle, y'all. Takes 3 minutes to do. You type in the year, the make, and the model of the vehicle you are searching for. You type in, example, 2018 Chevrolet Equinox. You must type in the year because some of y'all know sometimes a good year, you know, a car will come out in 2020 is a horrible one, but then they make the improvements in 2021 is a good one, right? We've seen that happen with cars. That's usually how it could happen. So usually you see a bad car has electric problems or something. The next year's version shouldn't have that problem if the manufacturer is, you know, staying on top of the continual improvement. But you must check. We go to Google, we type in the year, the make, the model, and then we type reliability. 3 terms you want to remember, y'all. 2 are for leases, and 2 are for 2 terms for leases: initial quality and reliability. Initial quality is what are people saying about the car the first 90 days. When you lease a car, it's brand new, or it's almost brand new. Maybe it's a demo, a couple thousand miles, but it's pretty, let's say, brand new. Initial quality tells you what owners are saying about the car the first 90 days it's out. Reliability is telling you what are owners saying the first 3 years. That's very important. Those are the 2 things you check if you're leasing. And we type in the year, to make, the model, reliability. Year, to make, the model, initial quality. And you skim those reports on Google. You skim those first couple pages, look at those articles, and see if you see anything, any red flags. Electrical problems, you know, software issues, cars always in the shop, you know, owners complaining. You want to look at that stuff. Now, if you're purchasing a new car, or if you're buying a pre-owned car, you're a long-term person. Remember, we're trying to get to that level. We're trying to get to that level. Paid off car, depreciation cooled off 8, 9, 10 years. I kept it. You need to look at initial quality if you're buying new. Initial quality, remember, is the first 90 days. If you are buying pre-owned, then initial quality doesn't really matter because you're buying it 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years old. What's important to you is reliability and then longevity. Longevity articles are going to talk about things like the engine, the transmission, long-term issues, owners that have the car long-term, what are they saying about it? You take the 3 to 5 minutes this takes, you'll prevent yourself from buying a bad car. Because the worst thing I could do is help you get a great deal on a bad car. Well, one of the worst things is help you get a good deal, a great deal, and then you should have been leasing, but you bought. Don't matter. You overpay. You're gonna spend thousands more. So anyway, those are the two things that when you talk about electric vehicles, the key is I got to make sure I'm getting a good one. First is be ready for an electric vehicle. It's a lifestyle change. Second thing is I need to make sure I'm getting a good one because some of these electric vehicles are crap. Oh, Marshall said, I got the book. So far, I am impressed and happy. Thank you, Marshall. I appreciate you. This is the name of the game. And look, let me show y'all something. You can't see it on TikTok, but I'll tell you all about it. The book, before we officially released it and started our promotion, we already, through the copies we had distributed, we already were rated 4.94 on Goodreads.com. We got 27 reviews, 31 ratings, 29 are 5 stars. So we already had people saying great things about it, using it, saving money with it. This isn't a book you read, it's a book you use. So get your copy for 75% off. Thank you, Marshall. Glad you are enjoying it. All right, let's get back to some more questions. Purchased the book last night. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. Enjoy it, use it. And please make sure you are emailing me with your success stories. All right, I'm due to trade in my Tacoma lease January 2025. Where can I find your information to get the best deal on my next lease? Okay, Pinhead, good question. Let me put that up on the screen. So there's stages. Remember what I said, steps, okay? No matter where you are in the process, everyone on here is going to fall in these 7 steps. First step is always, I call it the most important question. How many years are you going to keep the car? Now, in your case, you've already said my next car is a lease, which means I can skip that step. I'm leasing again. So now we go to step 2. Step 2 is the equity assessment. We need to find out where we are with our current vehicle. If that vehicle you're in has no equity in it, great. We know how we can proceed. If that vehicle has $3,000 of equity in it, well, great. We know that we can cash that equity out, put it in our pocket. We can account for it in our budgeting when we move to step 3, but it's our money. See, so we can't go to the shopping for our next car. Let me tell y'all what these 7 steps are. Whether it's in Cars from Home University, the video library, or whether it's in Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, the book. The 7 steps are the same. First step is the most important question, buying versus leasing, because it's the foundation of the deal. Like I said, if I could help you save money on a car all day long, if you should have leased this car, you're going to end up paying thousands more than you could have. So that's the foundation. Second step is the equity assessment. That means we look at our current car, our current lease, what we're driving, what we're replacing, and we need to make sure we need to account for that. We need to account for what's the maximum this thing is worth to me. Some of you find out you have negative equity. That affects your next step moving forward. So the reason we assess what we have in our current car is because it affects what we're going to do moving forward. You might be 10,000 miles over on your lease mileage. If you're 10,000 miles over for your lease, you're now operating with baggage. We still need to see if we can sell it, because some of you can sell your lease even when you're over miles, and that might help you to avoid a mileage penalty. That's step 2. Step 3, we move into deal-focused budgeting, structuring our deals. Now we're putting everything together. We're buying, we're getting our pre-approval. We're doing our if we're paying cash, we're accounting for how much is a deal. How much do we want to spend? If you don't know how much you want to spend, I'm helping you. I have I'm gonna show y'all this in a future broadcast. I created something called the Perfect Budget Calculator. It's incredible. It tells you exactly how much you can spend based on the payment you want to be at. It takes into account the taxes. Because how many times, who'll be honest? Who'll be honest and say you went in, you looked at a car, you knew how much you wanted to spend, but you forgot about the taxes or you forgot about the fees, and that put you higher than you wanted to spend, or that put you higher than your budget? Who'll be honest? You got to take into account fees, taxes, and that's what the perfect budget calculator does. I see you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody being honest. This is how we win and move forward, when we're willing to say, okay, yeah, I see that. That's why that happened. Okay, I did that a little incorrectly. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do it like that no more. And I create these tools and these systems to counteract these common mistakes that we've been taught to make. So the perfect budget calculator, that's what we're doing. We're coming up with now, I'm budgeting for a deal. I'm not budgeting saying how much I can spend. I'm budgeting for, this is how much a deal. I could spend $800 a month. Don't mean I'm gonna spend it all. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to budget for a deal. And then, and then we move into verifying, shopping, and picking our car. Picking our car. These things may move quick, but they have to be in order. See, because many of you, the reason why you haven't saved all the money you could save on your car deals, it's not just because you didn't know this. It's because even when you try, you're doing things in an order that doesn't work well. It's like, yo, I know how to bake a cake, but I put the daggone frosting in the cake mix. No, the frosting doesn't go in the cake mix. You bake the cake and then you put the frosting on it. So, some people say, oh, I deal with my trade-in later. No, I find my car and then I deal with my trade-in. Here's why we don't do that. Because when you find your car, you go through all this trouble. Now you find a car and they'll tell you, who's heard this? Don't tell them about your trade until the end. Who's heard that? Who's heard that? Raise your hand if you've heard. Don't tell them about your trade until the end. Let me tell you how that's a bad order of steps. Because I'm going to go through all of this trouble, find a car that I like, negotiate the old way, because that's what people are doing. They're not getting bids. They in there going back and forth. You're going back and forth, back and forth. And now you're like, all right, I like that price. Boom. Now let me tell you about this car that I want to trade. How much you going to give me for that? And if you could give me what I want for that, now we got a deal. So now you need me to give you some number that you pulled out that might be a real number, or it might be based on some just number you want. So now what happened if I can't give you all the money that you need to get for your car? You just wasted your time. We gonna part? Hey, all right, listen, sorry it couldn't work. You just wasted your time. One thing y'all gonna learn about me, two things that I don't want to waste any of: my money or my time. Anybody who agrees with me, hit the like button. I care just as much about my time as I do my money. So what y'all gonna find using what I teach y'all is you ain't never gotta walk away from a deal. You ain't never gotta walk away. We not giving a person an opportunity to waste our time. It is out the way, yeah. We're not giving, and Lucille Ball's on the other side. We're not giving a person an opportunity to waste our time. So what you want to do, Pinhead, is you need to assess if you have equity. That's your next step. You've already decided you're leasing. Good for you for making a decision, knowing you're a short-term person. Now what you're going to do is you're going to call. You're going to go online to those websites I mentioned earlier who buy our cars. When you go on their website, when you get to the section where it says, is the vehicle leased, owned, financed, you want to put owned. The reason is because 2 years ago, they set their websites up in a way because the bank started creating these third-party restrictions where Carvana and CarMax couldn't buy the cars directly. And so they had all these people who are going through their websites and they couldn't sell the cars to them. They couldn't buy their cars. So what they did is they just programmed the website to automatically, when it says lease, we can't buy leases. But what is truly the case, and I can tell you, I can attest to this because I have people in Cars from Home University who sell their leases to these companies. If you don't have a third-party restriction, you can sell to anyone you want. And not every lease has a third-party restriction. So now, if you have a third-party restriction, you can still sell. It just limits who you can sell to. We sell. God, we done help all types of people get third-party. That don't matter. It's just we have to sell to a local dealership. So if I had a BMW and BMW has a third-party restriction, I'm going to sell to a BMW dealership locally. And I teach you in the book how to have a conversation with a used car manager, get multiple bids, and sell to the highest BMW dealership. That's all you do with a third-party restriction, unless they're super lowballing you, and then you buy the car and you resell it to somebody like Carvana or Driveway or CarMax. But that's how we cash out our equity, because when you sell direct to these dealerships, you avoid the taxes, and sometimes the dealer payoff is lower than your payoff. So third-party restriction or not, it's all in the book. It all be taught. But that is your next step, Pinhead. You have to assess your equity, find out what's up with the Tacoma. And as long as you're doing it, if you got a year left on your lease, I would be doing that at a year. I would assess my equity when I had a year left, and then I do it every 3 months. So I do it again at 9 months. I see what the offers are, see what my payoff is. And then as I get closer to my lease ending, I do it again at 6 months, because I need to know if I can make money, or I need to know if I could get out clean. Some of you are going to find out, man, I got 3 months left. I could break even and get out clean. You normally can't get out of a lease contract. You can't get out of a contract. I contracted to keep this car until June 2020, whatever. If I could break even by selling it, I avoid any mileage penalties. The rest of my payments get paid off, and I can just go and get a car now. So that's why the equity assessment is step 2. We don't even worry about the car we're looking for until we've assessed our equity. We got to maximize the value for our current asset. Whatever you're driving now, whatever you're replacing now, you have to maximize the value in that, and then you move on to the next step. Yes, it's an ebook. The reason it's an ebook is because it's links inside, it's links to videos, it's links to documents where you have my scripts that you're going to be using on the websites, and I can update it. I've updated that book probably 3 times, maybe even more in small ways, but probably 3 major updates. I couldn't do that if it was printed. As things change, look, Vroom's out of business. If I had, a million books in print, I can't just update a million books. Vroom's out of business. No, but in a digital book, I go on, me and my team, this is the new file, boom. We keep it fresh. We keep it relevant. Yes. So most brands have third-party restrictions. How do you know? There's 42 brands. How do you know? There's even more leasing companies. Jeep has 4 leasing companies they use. I mean, and I'm not saying it's not true. You know what I'm saying? You might be right. I'm just asking you, how do you know? Because sometimes we make statements like, if you that's what I like to know. If your brand has a third-party restriction, though, we make our money. If it has equity, we're going to get our money. Doesn't matter. Third-party restrictions kept a lot of people from their equity. They said, oh, I knew it was too good to be true. I'm going to just go into the dealership because I was going to sell the CarMax, so I was going to sell it to this dealership, but, I got a third party. And they went right into the dealership and said, look, Charlie, stop playing. I know I got equity in this thing. And then you're sitting there letting Charlie work your deal when you should have been sitting at home, getting bids from local used car managers and selling and getting all your equity. Looking to purchase any thoughts, I'll buy the book. Benz GLA or BMW X3, how many years are you keeping the car, Rob? How many years are you keeping the car? How many years you keeping the car, Rob, that you're buying for your wife? All right. Rob said, Benz. And are you going to buy it or are you going to lease it, Rob? You're going to buy it or you're going to lease it? Did you just tune in? How long you been on here? How many minutes have you been on here, Rob? How many minutes have you been on here? Because I just asked Rob, and y'all know what we've been talking about. If you've been on here with us for the last, shout out to, I see y'all liking, blowing up the likes on TikTok. Oh, just joined about 5 minutes ago. All right, you get a pass. Because what we've been talking about, part of what we were talking about is the rules for buying and leasing. So what you're gonna find, what you're gonna find, the vehicles you just named that you said you're considering for your wife are brand new in the mid 40s. Let's call them 45,000. A GLA, well, you said a GLA? A GLA is not comparable to an X3. A GLA is comparable more to an X1. Now, although the GLA did get redesigned, so it's a little bigger, but what you're going to find is they're in different. So the GLA is probably going to be like 40, 41, whereas the X3 is probably going to be 45, depending on how you build it out. Now, let's just say, though, for example, they're both 40. Just for example, to purchase those vehicles for 40,000, you're talking about $800 a month. If you take a 6-year loan, you're talking about $700 a month. You could say, oh, Deshaun, I'm gonna put money down. Forget the money down. The money down is what confuses you. You start to you get lost in the payment and the structuring of the down payment and all of that. Let's focus on the price. Let's focus on what you're committing to. What's the price of the car? 40,000. That's coming out of your household in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, plus interest. You're gonna give us this whole 40,000. Whereas a person who's leasing is paying pennies compared to that. And if you're not leasing, those same cars that you would be paying $800 a month for, people are leasing them for $500. And this is the part where you can't, there's not, look, if you pull up to a traffic light, I'm gonna ask anybody on here, if you pull up to a traffic light and you are driving a car and you look to the side of you and somebody pulls up in the exact same car, like identical, and you happen to ask them, what are they paying every month? And they say 800. If you're paying for the same car, neither one of you put money down, 500, who's winning right now? Who's winning? Same exact car. I'm telling you all that is what is happening with people who get great lease deals. This person that I just showed y'all, let me show y'all this person now. Let me show y'all Greg. Greg got his lease. Look at the date. Greg got his $56,000 Kia electric. He's paying $527. That's a $56,000 car. Y'all can't see it on TikTok, but I'm just breaking it down for y'all. It's no comparison. A person who bought that same vehicle he's driving, $56,000, they're paying $1,100 a month. There are people who own this same vehicle paying $1,000 a month. Y'all know the rule. Every $5,000 is $100 a month. And you see how you can understand it when I don't talk about these down payments. See, when you're not putting money into the deals, you can compare the deals. That's how they get, that's another way they get y'all, oh, how much you put down. Now you confused, you looking at the payment. We don't put any money in the deals. When we're comparing, now we can clearly see, wait, this one, no money down, $527 a month. He leased it. This one, he's purchasing it, no money down, $1,000 a month on a 6-year loan. What the heck? This is no comparison. In the short term, I want $500 coming out my house, not $1,000. A lot of people who got in trouble paying $1,000 car payment wish there was a way that they could have been paying $500 or $600. But because they were taught never lease cars, they're never gonna. They've lost deals like this. Now that's a 1% deal Greg got. You don't really see a lot of those. It takes a lot of rebates. It takes a good lease program, and it takes him competitively shopping. That's what we do. I teach you how to make dealers bid. So we're never going to. No one who you ever see me show you has ever gotten less than 5 offers, because 80% of dealers are overpriced. So when we go with a dealer, it's because they won the bid. That's how we guarantee, and that's how you're going to guarantee. When you look at 5, 6 offers, you're going to be able to say, Dad, for the first time in my life, I'm confident in this price that I'm accepting. Because none of you are able to be confident because you're not seeing enough offers. You just kind of hope you did okay. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that if you purchase when you should have leased, it's too much money to catch up. You've lost too badly. All right, so let's get back here. This is all in the book. Everybody who wants to get their copy, it is 75% off for 30 minutes. Click the link, and if it's not showing the 75% off, let me know, but it should be. You could go to my TikTok bio, get your copy, my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. And you can download it immediately. You can be using it in literally 3 minutes. It'll be in your inbox, and you can put these strategies to work. All right, Instagram bio, TikTok bio, or Instagram bio, TikTok bio, or you could go to DeShawnBook.com or scan the QR code. So what else we got? We still got hundreds of people on here between all the platforms. Shout out to y'all for checking in, tuning in, and making sure you are fighting to protect your money. EV cars are a waste. See, we don't pay attention. Here's what I don't want y'all to pay attention to. People who sound like they've been burned, whatever, because you're not saying anything of value. You sound just like the people who say never lease a car. You don't realize how ridiculous to somebody you look. You made yourself look ridiculous because you're ranting. You need to give reasons, and you need to give compelling reasons. And the best thing for you to do is to give compelling reasons backed by data, and then we'll listen. But you just sound like somebody who had a bad experience with an electric car, and you probably bought a bad one. We're not negating your experience. You probably bought one that was a problem. You may have didn't check your longevity. You probably didn't check the initial quality. You probably didn't check the reliability ratings, and you ended up with a problem car. It could have happened, but that's no reason. That doesn't give any. You don't now get a pass to go and tell people, like people who say, "Oh, never buy a Benz. Never buy a Benz." I know you. I've seen you. You had a Benz in your life before? Yeah, I had one. It was the worst ever. Okay, let me ask you. You bought a used one, right? Yep, I bought it used. Did you have one with a warranty? Well, it had a year warranty. Did you buy an extended warranty? Nah. I didn't want to buy an extended warranty. Stuff started going. So you telling me you bought an old Benz because it was in your budget, but it really wasn't in your budget because you can't afford the maintenance. You couldn't afford to buy a quality one with a long warranty to protect yourself. You knew this is a car where things go wrong, and when they go wrong, it's expensive. It's expensive to fix, but you didn't get a quality one. You got a bad one because you wanted to be cheap, and that's why you hated the experience with Benz, BMW. Car was always in the shop. Understandable. Those people, they're out here, y'all. They're out here. That's why you got to be. You're going to have your own independent system for how you car shop and how you make decisions, and it's independent of a person's opinion. Thanks, Lindsay. I got your book. I want to learn how to lease a Mercedes GLE. Easy. Now, what you're going to learn, Lindsay, is lease programs are not always good. Every single car, let's say there's 500 different cars, 500 different lease programs. Sometimes the trim levels are different on lease programs. So literally, the sport model has a different lease program than the limited. What you're going to use in the book, it's going to show you how to connect with 25 dealers. You're going to get at least 5 offers. You're going to do this right from home using your computer, using my scripts. And my scripts, you type. You don't say them. You're not talking to anyone. You're typing them in email, right? Once you get 5 offers, if they're all over 1.5%, which you'll see in the book, I'll walk you through how to analyze the offers. I have a tool in there you're going to use. You're going to put your offers in. It's going to tell you what to counter, because we counter offer by email. But once we see all the offers are above 1.5%, they're like 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. That's a bad lease program. That means the manufacturer, the bank, is to blame, because the dealer who wins that bid is going to be giving you a large discount. That's why I say it's a lot harder to get a great lease deal. It's a lot easier to get a great purchase deal on a new car. Because with our system, we're going to have a dealer who blows everyone else away. They're going to beat everyone else. But if now we say we're going to lease it, now all they can do is put that price that they've agreed to into the computer in the lease program, and then it's going to spit out a payment. If the lease program is bad, there's no rebates, the residual's bad. We don't worry about all of this. You can't control any of this. All you could do is shop and then look at the results. We don't get into money factors and the interest rate. That we can't change that. All we can do is shop, look at the offers, and then judge accordingly. Now, when you see that, if they're all under 1.5%, good lease program. Now you're just picking which one is the best offer. If they're all over 1.5%, bad lease program. And how they're winning with those is they got financially egotistical people who want to drive the car and they don't understand financing. Give you an example of that. Range Rover. Hey, come on, Mr. Johnson. You know how long you've been driving Range Rovers? And about 10 years now. Come on. You know, but I used to pay $1,200. Now y'all telling me it's $1,500. You know, the same car. You know, I can't see any. But he gonna come in, he gonna get that car because he needs to pull up in a Range Rover. He's not gonna buy $100,000 car and pay, $1,800 a month, $2,000 a month. So he has to lease it, but he's overpaying for his lease. There's no value in it, because when it's all said and done over 3 years, when he looks at how much he paid for that Range Rover he's giving back, it's a ridiculous move. You paid 60%, 70% of the car's value, and now you're giving them the rest back, and they're going to go sell it. So we got to know when bad leasing when banks are trying to take a shot at us. And I always say, if you leasing, you don't love any car anyway. If you wanted a Range Rover this time, you're going to learn. Have 2 backup, have 3 options. We have 3 options. And whoever has the best lease program, that's who wins. I'll see you in 3 years, Range Rover. Maybe the lease program will be better. And then I'll lease a Range. But I'm not going to take no bad leasing program. And now I'm out here paying a ridiculous amount of money for a car I'm giving back. So we got to know bad lease programs. I teach you that in the book. That's above the 1.5% rule. So all of that is going to be broken down for you so that you know how to maximize your money. And it's going to be step by step for you. So I'm glad you got it. I'm looking forward to you using it. Made my purchase today, Jackie. You got a car? I am, because I leased the lease. How do you shop for the best lease? Robbie King, it's multiple offers. We use online shopping systems. What I'm teaching y'all is a system for shopping online, not just the car from home. The way I teach, it's a system. It's like McDonald's. I say to you, trust me, use my system, get this result. It's the same thing I talk about in my videos. If you go watch all the videos that I have on my social media, every one of them fits into what I'm teaching. You'll be reading my book and you're like, yo, this is exactly what he's saying in his videos. If you in Cars from Home University with the video library, you watching the videos and you like, wow, this is exactly what he said on social media. It doesn't change. It's just, it's broken up. So when you look at, hold on one second. I wanted to put that comment up on the screen. We have all been burned. Oh, sorry. Good time. You checking in. Good to see you. Deshaun, $97. No. It should be, $97 is the normal price. I'm going to reset it. Let me know if you see the 75% off price. Go to my TikTok bio. or my Instagram bio. Let me know if y'all see the 75% off price. That's what it should be, 75% off. And or go to DeShonsBook.com or scan the QR code and let me know. Let me come back here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Enjoy it. Enjoy using it. There we go. Robbie. He said, how do you shop for the best lease? It's always multiple offers. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a quick way. Now, I don't recommend this, but if you don't have the book, then you could do this. One quote, you pick a car, you know, you get an offer and you get out of there. I don't get any offers in the dealership ever. You're better off leaving and then calling and getting an offer. And then you're going to call, at least you're going to call local dealerships, ask for a sales manager, speak to the sales manager and say, hey, my name is such and such. This is the car I'm looking for. I wanted to see if you guys had something like this. And if you had something that fits my choices, and if you could give me an offer. If you're dealing with a sales manager, you could work through that and you could probably get to a point where, they may want to, you could get it done. It's I can't predict it because now it's scripted. Now it's words. Now it's people with wording. And, the reason why it's predictable when we go online is because we're just typing. So when we're typing, I know when the dealer gets our request, when we send our request, we're telling them all the colors we want, black, white, or gray. That means when they look at the car, they're looking in their inventory, they're like, okay, black, white, or gray. Do we have anything? We're telling them sport or GT model. All right, black, white, or gray, sport or GT. We're telling them the equipment we want because we build the car. So you got to know what you want, and then you got to know what you're open to taking. Open to taking means I like the big sunroof. I don't need the big sunroof. I could do a regular sunroof. I could do the sunroof or I could do no sunroof. Doesn't matter. That's important because when the dealer looks in the inventory, he might see, oh, this car has everything they want, but it doesn't have a sunroof. You think they'll take it. Now they're trying to get in touch with you, find out if you'll take one without the sunroof. Meanwhile, somebody else go sell the car. Now it's over. So that's why when we come in with the request, shout out to y'all liking the running the likes up on TikTok. Could y'all please keep tapping the screen? Appreciate y'all. Try now. I just reset the link. So anybody who saw the 97, go back now and see if the 75% off is there. So we're letting them know that from the start when we come in. So they're looking and saying, okay, any of these options works for these people. Let me pull something so I can give them an offer. So that's how we come in the door. We do that by email. Now, if you can do it with the other way I just told you with the sales manager, but you need to be aware of it because you don't want to, you're going to come across as if you're wasting their time because you don't know what you want and you don't know what information to give them. Here's another thing that they must know. Once we know the car we want and we give that to the sales manager, we must tell them where we work, what our title is, if we're an attorney, if we're affiliated with any attorneys, sometimes there's rebates for this. And I have a template. This is all in the book. You fill this out. But if you don't have the book, then this is what you need to give in order to effectively be able to get an offer online. You can't even get one without this because a dealer can't give you an offer. You are now going to tell them what cars are in your household. If I have two cars, one of them is paid off. It's an Infiniti. One of them is Chevrolet, and I'm leasing it. Why? Because sometimes there's rebates depending on which cars you own. Sometimes there's rebates for a competitor's car. Sometimes it's rebates, loyalty for a same make car. We got to tell them if we're military or ex-military, because if they have a military discount or rebate, first responder discount or rebate, Costco discount or rebate, these are the things we have to tell. So a lot of you can't get your offers online. You can't shop online because you just don't know how to shop online the right way. When the dealers are saying, I can't give you a quote, I can't give you an offer because I need this information, and you're defensive, you don't realize, why are they asking for my zip code? Why are they asking me where I work at? So you're slowing the process down and you don't know it. So when you start using the way I teach, you're giving them all the information they need right there. Now you got everything you need. What's your offer? And when you do that and you get at least 5 offers, whether you're going to do it the manual way with a sales manager or whether you're going to do it my way in the book, that's the information you need. You get 5 offers and you'll see how different the offers are. It's going to blow your mind. One offer will be $500 a month. Another offer will be $600 a month. Another offer will be $650 a month. And you're going to be like, whoa, how are these offers so different? Because 80% of dealers are trying to take your head off. 80% of dealers are going to be high, overpriced. Even when they discount and take off a little more, take off $50 more, $75 more per month, they still overpriced. But the 20% win the bid. Miles Weed. So Miles said, can we work with you directly? So I get results for people. Here's what I'm very good at. And if I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm good at getting results for groups. I'm good at getting results for groups. I have been fortunate where God has blessed me to be able to connect with people and either help them through my free videos. Those who want to go deeper with me, you get the book, 75% off. I see people still saying it's showing the full price, so I'm going to try to reset it one more time. Or people who are in my video library, some people you'll hear about the video library where people just want to watch the step-by-step videos instead of reading the book. And then there's people who coach with me. But I don't coach with anybody who doesn't have those things, because now I'm just coming in and I'm talking to someone who doesn't know anything about what I teach. So once you know what I teach, I can coach you. I can't coach you from nothing. Like, you asking questions that I explain in different mediums everywhere, but I got to continue to say, no, that doesn't work. It's ineffective. So I coach groups. There's plenty of people who, right now I've coached 1,400 people since 2021, since November 2021 in Cars from Home University. So it's been great. Does this work for cars that are not high end? Absolutely. Every principle, this works for everything from the Honda Civic to the Bentley. Doesn't matter. Principles are the same. When I worked for General Motors, I saw people making the same mistakes when I went to Mercedes-Benz. Doesn't matter. Same mistakes people were making. Thank you. I see everybody sharing these gifts and everything. Thank you so much. The same mistakes I saw people making on Instagram. Can y'all see me? Hold on one second. I looked at Instagram and it was a blank screen. Can y'all see me on Instagram? Type a yes if y'all can see me. But yeah, the same things I saw people doing at General Motors is what I saw people doing when I went to Mercedes. Same mistakes, leasing versus buying mistakes, equity mistakes. It's the same. And if I was shopping for a Ferrari or shopping for a Chevy Cruze, I'm following the same system. See, that's the thing about a system. You could want a luxury car, you could want an import car, you could want an economy car. A system's going to get you there. Those 7 steps that are in my book are going to get you there. The 7 steps I teach all in my videos are going to get you there as long as you follow them. Because it's principles. Principles don't change, even when you switch the car. Just got the #1 gifter badge. Thank you, iPad Photo Girl. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Lease for $3.99 a month. It doesn't matter if they still want you to come in, Photo Booth. We don't come in until the deal's done. We don't come in until the deal's done. We are never coming into a deal. See, remember this, y'all. Whenever you walk into a dealership and the price hasn't been established, you're setting someone up to potentially waste your time. You are potentially wasting your own time. If there's a possibility I could leave here with no car, because of price, then I'm wasting my own time. Now, with a used car, pre-owned car, you're going to see what I teach is something called the multiple marketplace strategy. We cannot test drive a pre-owned car until the test drive is the final step and then we take the car. With new cars and leases, we always test drive first, then we shop offers. With a used car, you can't do that because you could go test drive a car and then that car is good, but the one you end up getting, if it's a different used car, it's going to drive different, could be feeling. So the final step of a used car purchase is always going to see the car and drive it. And all right, perfect, feels great. You might get a mechanic to inspect it. I'm taking it. But we are never coming to see a new car or used car without pricing being established at home. Prices, fees, what I'm paying, is this a great deal? All established at home. By the time I get there for a used car, I'm only here to verify that everything is everything. I'm only here to drive it, buy it. I already made sure you was the best price. I already talked to you online. I had somebody write me the other day and say, yo, I'm here looking at this used car. How do I get them to get rid of these fees? You can't. You're there already. That's something you were supposed to do at home. That was something you were supposed to verify at home before you got in your car to drive over to that dealership. Because while you're there trying to get that dealership to take off those fees, the real best price car is gone. That thing done sold. While you there wasting your time with this car with $2,000 in fake fees, the real best deal is gone. So this is strategic. Everything we do is strategic. It's designed to save us money, make us money on our car, and not waste our time. Thanks for organizing and passing this out. And I've been watching your videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is what we do. This is the mission. I love this. I enjoy it. I love to see the community continuing to grow. Some of you on TikTok know I used to go live back when I first came to TikTok. I went live very regularly. We did a lot of Q&A. But what happened is we started developing these programs in this educational material to get in the public's hands. And so we took a back, promoting that, going live took a back seat. And we wanted to make sure that the people who we were helping were getting results, wanted to make sure that people were saving the money. But now that we did that, we spent the last 2 years doing that. Now I get to go live again and do these shows and interact with you guys and get this information to you. So does the book break down how to purchase after bankruptcy discharge? Good question, Natasha. So yes, there's strategies in there for bad credit, for rebuilding credit, for low credit. Here's what you got to know about that. Here's what anybody on here who has less than perfect credit, any of those three things, what you should be doing is you got to take credit. Like you got to take rebuilding your credit to get a car like you would do for a house. I've seen tons of people, and you've probably seen them too. When they get ready to buy a house, they locked in. They're working with credit people. They are literally like, man, I got to get to a whatever, 620, 640, 5.8, whatever they're trying to get to, they focus. You should be taking, unless you're in an emergency, you should be doing the same thing with a car, because when you get to that 660 range, you got a lot more options than when you're 605. You got more control. So what you're going to see in the book is I have plan A, plan B, plan C for bad credit. And what happened? What makes a plan C versus a plan A? What situation you're in? We're going to try plan A first. Plan A gives us the most control, which is the most options, the most flexibility, the most freedom. What is freedom? That means I can buy a car wherever I want. That means there's no special network that y'all set up to sell me a car. Sometimes there is. With restricted pre-approvals is what I call them. We approve you, but you can only shop here. We approve you at Carvana, but you can only shop with us, Carvana. So wait, what if all your cars are overpriced? I said what I said. You can only shop with us. That's a restricted pre-approval. So it does me no good to have a company pre-approve me and then point me in a direction of where I can shop. So that means when I look at this car, if I know that a car like this I could get for 18, why y'all want 22? What if, can I just go find this other one for 18 and then y'all just fund that? Nah, you got to go through one. See, so that's lit. The less control you have over your financing, the less control you have over what car you can pick, the less control you have over identifying a great car at a great price. You could find a great car at a great price. If you have great credit, we're going to snatch it. I'll help you find it, lead you to it. Nothing's going to stop us from getting it. With bad credit, you can find a great car, be literally right there, go to the funding source, depending on who you got your loan from, and say, I found a great car. And they say, nah, that don't work for us. So that's why we got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. And what I'm telling you is rebuild your credit. Get yourself to that mid sixes, 660, 670, so that you could be out of that manipulation zone where you really have limited control. But no matter who you are, in the book, there is a plan for you, and there's a plan A, plan B, plan C. Because no matter where you are in the spectrum, you never want to get to the point where you forget that I need to be moving with strategy. Dad, I don't care if you end up buying from buy here, pay here. My first car when I was 21, my second car, actually, my first car was a $500 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Transmission went out. Nice car, though. And it was a 1997, I think. And then my next car, I got from a buy here, pay here place. I literally went down the street. I want to say I put $1,500 down. I paid them $50 every week. I was 20. I was 20 years old, needed a car for work. And I paid it off. Do you know I kept that car for 6 years? Kept that car for 6 years. So even if, and I didn't know anything about cars back then. I wasn't in the car business. I was 20 years old. But one thing I can say is what did I do right is I made sure I got a good car. Car had, I think, 70,000 miles on it when I bought it, or 80. It was a good car. So even if you are in the non-traditional route to acquire a vehicle, there's things you don't want to skip, or you don't want to be in there blind. Oh, I just want a car. Now I'm leaving with something with 120,000 miles. It's overpriced, and now I'm in trouble, and I'm paying. So no matter how much you have, no matter what position you end up going, whether you're following my book, whether you're plan A, plan B, plan C with bad credit, each of them is a plan. We never wing it anymore. All right, do you have a 660? Do you have to have a 660 across all three bureaus? And it's not just score, it's just what I see is when you get to that 660, 670 range, when they see 640, 630, it's just a manipulation zone. It's just a zone where you might qualify for some good things, depends on your profile, or you might qualify for almost nothing. Like it's this gray area that's very hard. So I like to tell people, get out of the gray area. Like get out of the gray area. Get to 670. Like get there. But again, it's not all credit score. It's profile. You could be a 660 and you have 3 car loans, or you even have one. You got 1 car loan. You've been paying it for 2 years, every day, every month on time. You in a good position. You're in a good position. Or somebody else could be a 660 and they missed 3 car payments. You're in a better position than them. That's profile. Shout out to everybody else. Who's been really sharing. New people. If this is your first time seeing me, could you type a 1? Could you type a 1? I just like to know how many new people we get on here. I always like to welcome the new people. And could y'all do me a favor, everybody? If you've been here, you've been with me before, could y'all just type welcome to the new people? Let's type welcome to the new people. We invite y'all to subscribe, to follow. This is a great community over here. This is a community of people who are very much into financial literacy and to making sure they watch their money, to making sure that they're not giving away any of their money that is rightfully theirs. So that's the type of community that we have here. So definitely shout out to all the new people, and shout out to the people who are welcoming the new people. So that's it, y'all. 75% off my new book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. 75% off. You can get it in my TikTok bio. Click the picture of me. Go to my TikTok bio. Click that website. or my Instagram bio, and click the one that says 75% off, or go to DeShonsBook.com or scan the QR code. Any of those ways, you could get your book for 75% off. Download it immediately, start using it. All your questions will be answered in that book because I've accounted for everything in there. No matter what your position is, you're going to follow those 7 steps. All right. Is there any option with high mileage leases other than buying the car at the end of the lease? We don't buy cars at the end of the lease, especially a high mileage. Think about the high mileage driver I told y'all earlier, right? He came in with 75,000 miles on his car after 3 years. He wouldn't buy that. It would be financially, no. We don't buy our leases. We just don't buy our leases. Like, you could assume, as long as y'all know me, if I'm asking Deshaun, should I buy my lease? 99 times out of 100, he's going to say no. But here's what I'm going to ask you. Are you buying your lease is like buying a used car? That's all it is. Do not look at it any different. If you're buying a used car, I'm going to ask you, are you keeping it more than 8 years? If you say yes, then great. Buy it, get to that low depreciation phase, and you won. If you tell me I'm buying a used car and I'm not keeping it 8 years, then I'm going to tell you you're about to lose. You should be leasing. So it's the same way with buying your current lease out. If you buy your lease, all you're doing is buying a used car. That's it. The only difference is, instead of going out looking for a used car, you got one right here. That's the only difference. So I'm never going to recommend buying a lease unless you tell me I'm keeping it 8 years. Because someone who gets a great lease is going to pay less than you. That same car you about to buy your lease out, if I go get a great lease deal on that car, I'm going to pay less than you. And I'm going to drive a better car than you. That's called value. There's nothing to debate about two people who are driving the same car, and one person is paying much less than them. What do you know that I didn't know? I'm paying $350 for my Infiniti car. You're paying $550. We driving the same car. Buddy, it's something I know that you don't know. Did you put money down? No money down. Did you? No, I didn't put money down. How you get $350? I'm asking you how you get $550. How you pay that much? That's the difference between knowing how to get great deals and not knowing how to get great deals. But the difference between leasing and purchasing is the most important, y'all. If it's one subject that you need to zero in on with me, it's leasing versus purchasing, because that's foundation to your car deals. And that's what you got 99,000 other people out here trying to beat into your head. Don't lease, but you're never going to see them talk numbers. You're never going to see them show you a number like, look at Taupe. Look at Taupe on the screen, y'all. BMW lease. Look at Taupe. Now, just to show you the dramatic difference between leasing, getting great lease deals, and purchasing, I have to continually show you the people who I teach, who learn from me, who get great lease deals. I got to continually show you to compare so we got to hammer this thing in. Now watch this. Taupe, let me hide this question. Taupe got a 50, how much is her BMW? $54,000, $54,750. She drove off at $690 a month. You can see it here on the screen. If you're on TikTok, I want you'll catch the rebroadcast. We're going to syndicate these shows because these shows, I believe, are timeless. And I think no matter when you're watching them, you can get value out of them. But if you're watching, you go watch on YouTube, you watch on Facebook, go watch the replay, you'll see she's paying $690 for a $54,000 vehicle. That's an $1,100 a month payment. Remember the rule, every $5,000 is $100 a month. $54,000. That's $1,100. Not taking into account taxes, nothing. How do we compare that? Do we see the drastic difference? For years, they taught y'all that people who lease were somehow stupid. They taught y'all that people who leased were financially unwise. It's them. It's them that's actually operating in ignorance. It's them who's looking at their family, because you might buy a car and keep it until the wheels fall off, but your son isn't. Your daughter isn't. Your wife isn't. Your husband isn't. So you telling them, they like, Dad, well, I've really been hearing about leasing because, I'm not going to keep my car as long as you. I might only keep my car for like 4 years, 5 years. Then I'm going to switch it. Don't matter, son. Go buy it. Find it horrible. You don't realize because your son listens to you, you just cost your son $2,000 or $3,000. Now, somebody like Tope, she's experienced it. First lease, I got a lot of people, many of you, your first lease is going to be because of me. And I'm fine with that. I know that's part of the mission. We've had hundreds of people. Man, I knew nothing about leasing until I started digging in and learning from you. So now once we experience it, Tope is driving a $54,000 BMW for $690 a month. Now, $690 a month normally, if she purchased, that only gets her $35,000 on a loan. So the same car that she would go look and buy for $35,000 would be the same $690 that she's paying for a brand new BMW. This is what we get to do. See, I never feel like we're at a loss. I feel like we are so blessed that we get to bring this information to the world, and whoever receives it, God bless you, you win. Whoever doesn't receive it, you lose. And you can lose without knowing you're losing. That's pride. Like, if you really look at this and you slice this up and say, man, look at Greg's deal. Look at Greg's deal. Look at Tope's deal. Look at Danielle's deal. Look at Danielle on her Audi lease. This ain't just luxury cars. Showed you a Kia. This is when you find a vehicle that has a great lease deal, you get multiple offers like I teach. You get the dealer that wins the bid like I teach. Look, $44,000 Audi, Danielle's driving, $550 a month. That same car, $44,000, would be about $800 a month. No, $900, because you got 44, that's closer to 45. I'm good with math, so I'll tell y'all what it is. 45,000, every 5,000 is $100. That's a $900 payment. There are people driving that same car now, no money down, went and picked it up, $900 a month for 5 years. They might say, man, that payment a little high. What about a 6-year loan? All right, we can get you to $800 a month. That's still high. What about 7-year loan? See, this is what happens when you're trying to force a purchase and you can't afford a vehicle. 7-year loan. All right, if you do 7 years, we can get you to $720 a month. All right, I think I'll do that. $720. You leaving out of there with a daggone $720 payment for 7 years on an Audi that Danielle is paying $550 a month for. So this is in the book. In the book, anybody who wants to clearly be able to see the leasing versus purchase money comparison, in the book, I link you to a video in the Cars from Home library where I compare a new car lease to a new car purchase, a new car lease to a used car purchase, and a new car lease for a high mileage driver versus a high mileage driver who purchases. So we go deep on that, and I show you the money comparison and how much more the people who purchase pay. Now, in the long run, like we've been talking about, in the long run, the purchaser wins, because 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, y'all remember, we get to that level. We get to that low depreciation, no car payment, vehicles not losing much value. You can't do that with a lease. So that's the goal. Keeper, or leaser. There's no in between. There is no in between on this. I'm either keeping this thing long term or I'm leasing it. This in between period is how we've lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay? And we're going to come out of that. All right. Thank you, Alonzo. Said great information. Thank you. I love this. You get what I'm saying? This is fun for me. This is a topic that I love, and I love to see the results of the people who apply it. I love to see people who come in are like, man, it's a lot of stuff about car buying I had no idea about, but all right, I'm gonna learn this thing. I'm gonna use this new way, and now look at what I'm doing. Look at how I'm benefiting. Look at what I'm paying. Look at how I'm moving. I'm enjoying shopping now. So it's a thrill for me. All right, y'all. So we'll get ready to wrap. I'm gonna do a couple more questions and we'll get ready to wrap. If you have already gotten your book, thank you. Use it. If you haven't gotten your book yet, this is the official launch of my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And you could get your copy for 75% off. Go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, click the website in my bio, and then click the link that says 75% off. And you can grab your copy immediately. If you go to DeShawnsBook.com, you can get your copy, or if you scan the QR code, you can get your copy. All part of our book launch. And please, after you use it, if you could add to our reviews on Goodreads.com, that would be great. We're already rated 4.94. We have over 30. I think we have 30 5-star reviews so far. So it's been great. So let's just keep that going. I just purchased the book. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you so much. What's a good lease price for a Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid Max? So here's what I would do when we're trying to see when we budget how much a good lease should be. We use 1.25%. So we use 1.25% because that's in between the 1.5%, which is the max we're going to pay when we lease a car. I'm not going to ever co-sign or back you up on taking a lease above that breaks the 1.5% rule. You're just paying too much for a car now that you're giving back in 3 years. And then the 1% rule, which is a steal, when you get a lease payment that's 1% of the MSRP, like you saw with Greg. He had a $56,000 car. His lease payment was $527. He got a 1% lease. So when we get our bid, we don't know where it's going to land because we don't know what the lease program is. We don't know how good, aggressive, or bad it is. It's based on how much they want to move the vehicle. It's based on, what the leasing company wants to do. If they want to move a good amount of those vehicles, it's going to be a decent lease program. If they want to move a lot of them, it's going to be a great lease program. If they don't care about moving them, it's going to be a bad lease program. But we don't know that until we shop our offers. But what we do is I'll use 1.25%. I'll look at the MSRP of whatever vehicle you just named. Let's just say it's 50,000, and you multiply that by 0.0125, and you'll see that's 625. So if this vehicle has a good lease program, that's my roundabout. Now, if it's a 1.5% lease, then that would be 750. So I take that middle portion. We use the 1.25% to see if this is a vehicle we should go after. And that's what we do. I've been doing this with people I used to shop for myself because I had a leasing company. But when I started working with people all around the country on these deals, I had no idea. We just don't know what the lease program is going to be. That's the consensus. The only way for us to know, Greg didn't know, Danielle didn't know, Tope didn't know, none of the people that you're going to see that have learned from ever knew. Any lease that I got, I didn't know the lease program was that until I shopped, got the offers, and then closed the deal. Because great lease deals, these deals that I'm showing you and the deals I get, they're not advertised. So if they're not advertised, we can't look to anywhere to know that there's an incredible lease deal going. All we could do is choose our car, Follow our process. That's why I like us sitting at home, doing it my way. Thank you, Rob J. Enjoy it. Use it. The reason why I love how we do is because when you use what I'm going to show you how to do, you open up your computer. In about an hour's time, with an hour worth of work at my computer, I'm going to know what the lease programs are. I'm going to know if the lease programs, if the offers look good or not. If I go into these dealers, we don't know. But if I sit at home and I use the system that's in my book that some of you are going to be using, you'll be able to see what the offers are on a car and literally sit at your computer, hour worth of work. You're going to be getting offers to your email and you're like, okay, these offers look all right. Initial offers look okay. You keep following, you use my system, you make your counter offers by email, and you get to a great deal. You'll also see, okay, these offers look high. These offers are at 1.8%, 1.9, 1.7. Looks like this is a bad lease program. But I'd rather find it out while I'm at my house rather than me going into a dealership, going back and forth for 2 hours to figure out, oh, the lease program is bad. Or I don't even know if this person even selling me the car at a good price. So at home is how you save the money. Can you turn in your lease early? You can't because you're breaking a contract. You have payments remaining. If you have 6 payments remaining and you decide I'm going to turn in my lease, they're going to bill you for the 6 payments. The only way you get out of your lease early is you sell it. That's why we run our equity every three months. Once you get to about a year left on your lease, run your equity. You do it again at 9 months, do it again at 6 months, and you'll see what your equity position is. Sometimes your equity position says you got to wait till the end. Sometimes your equity position says I could sell this and get out of it now. But it's all based on your equity position because other than that, you're breaking a contract. And we have to pick cars that we're going to enjoy. If you can't pick a car you're going to enjoy for 3 years, you haven't shopped long enough. You have robbed yourself of the experience of car shopping. If you can't find a car out here with all of these cars, and I find that most of you have been taught to shop wrong. You're not even looking at cars. That's why you notice they call you before your lease is up. Who's getting calls now? And even if you own a car, you're getting those calls now before your loan's paid off, before your lease is up. Hey, come on in. We could upgrade you. We could get you out of your car early. Who's getting that? Who's getting those calls right now? Who's getting those calls right now? We could get you out of your car early. You got 6 months left. We'll get you out early. Why? The reason why you're getting those calls is because they don't want you to shop. If we can upgrade you before you even hit the market, see, now I'm going to go into what my man Saquon Barkley just experienced with the New York Giants. They had him tied up. They didn't want him on the market. That's what the dealerships are doing with you and your leases and your purchases. We're trying to call you. We don't want you to hit the market. We don't want you to see those other products out there. You've been with Honda for 10 years. You know how much changed in 10 years? You know how much rankings and quality ratings have changed in 10 years? You've been a Honda owner for 10 years. You've been a Mercedes owner for 10 years. In 10 years, Hyundai and Kia have gone to the moon. They now got 10-year warranty. 10 years ago, Kia and Hyundai were laughed at because it was a quality concern. They said, you know what? This is how much we believe in our quality. We're going to do the longest warranty in the industry, 10 years. So in 10 years, times have changed. But if you never get out there and test drive and go see product, you basically in a bubble. And you're in the bubble that they want you in. You in the bubble of, let me stick with this car. All right, let me go see Charlie. It's time for a new one. You know all we buy is Ford. Meanwhile, all these other brands out here that's competing, that's saying, just come look. Just come drive it. Go drive the Ford and then come drive us. Look around. Test drive. You're not even giving yourself that opportunity. So if you cannot keep a car for at least 3 years, You have a shopping problem. You have a shopping problem. You're deciding too quick. You're getting cars that you're rushing into, because with all of these cars out here, you got to be able to find a car you're going to love that you can keep for 3 years, because you can't break a contract earlier than that and have it and win. I'm sorry to tell you, but somebody told some of you that you could just trade out of a car in a year if you wanted to. Somebody told you you could trade out of a car in 2 years if you wanted to. Here's what they didn't tell you: how much that's going to cost you. So yeah, you could go buy the $30,000 car, come back in a year and trade it in. You know who would never do that? Cash buyers on here. Cash buyers would never do that. I'm gonna tell you why. When you pay cash for a car, you lay out that 30 grand, you ain't coming back in a year to change it. Here's why. When you hear how much they're gonna give you for the car, you're gonna change your mind. You're gonna be like, wait a minute, hold on. I just gave you 30 grand for this car. Now you're giving me 22 a year later? Nah, that's crazy. Yeah, so you lose 20%, hold on to it. But here's what happens with payment people. They hide that price. They hide the fact that you're only getting 23 when you just paid 30 plus tax. And now, what payment do you want to be at? Well, I could afford I know I'm upgrading, I know I'm getting out of early, so I could go from like 450 to like 525. All right. So let me see what I can do for you. So now they're going to take that money from your car that you're replacing. You lost 7 grand in a year, and now they're going to pay off the loan, put you into a new deal that they charge you whatever for, but then stretch the loan out to where it equals a $525 payment, and they just come to you and say, hey, we got you in this car right here, $525. And you're like, oh, good, let's go, we got a deal. That is what we cannot do anymore. So somebody taught you, whoever taught you that you could go buy cars and flip them, you've gotten a huge lesson in depreciation this broadcast. We've been talking a lot about depreciation. Now that you know how depreciation works, you sit that car out there for a year, it ain't worth 30 no more. A year later, it's worth 25. I ain't even drive it. Now you know how depreciation works. Now you'll understand why you cannot switch cars that quick without losing a ton of money. And if they hide the money in your car payment that you're losing, that's how they get the deal done. That's how they get the deal done. Because if you saw the numbers, just flat out numbers without the car payments, you never okay the deal. You never okay the deal. But they hide the losses in your car payment. You just like, man, I'm just paying $500 a month for 6 years. You don't realize what that means. So the way you're going to shop now is going to be very easy. You're going to understand every aspect of the car transaction, and we're not even going to concern ourselves with these payments that people try to hide us. No, we're going to concern ourselves with paying the least amount for the car, getting our own fine. You'll see. So anyway, today's lesson was really more on depreciation. We covered a lot of other things too, but I think you guys got a great understanding of depreciation and how you're going to pay depreciation whether you buy or lease. If you get a good lease, you pay less for depreciation. That's the whole goal. Short-term people lose with depreciation big time. You buy a car for 40, it's worth 20 in 4 years. When you lease, you're trying to pay less than that. So, all in the book. Thank you so much. I see you all. I appreciate your compliments. I appreciate y'all being tuned in. I will be back. We'll talk more. And thank you all who got the book. I see a lot of you saying you got the book. If you just jumped on and you see people in the comments saying, I got the book, I got mine, the book is great. They're talking about my new digital book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get it now for 75% off as part of our book launch. Just go to my TikTok bio or go to my Instagram bio and click the website and then click the one that says 75% off book. Or you can go to deshaunsbook.com or scan the QR code, get it, use it, and make sure you report your success story back to me. All right. So I will see y'all soon. We'll get more done, but I appreciate you. This is always fun. We'll see you in the next hour. and we'll keep this thing going. All right, let's keep this money in our pocket. Let's keep protecting ourselves, and God bless y'all. No, it's not 97. I'll adjust it. You might have missed the countdown. Let me see if I can reset it. Try it again in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can reset it. It was good for 30 minutes. So try it now. You should see it. If not, DM me, and I'll try to get you a special link if you can't get the 75% off price. But other than that, get the 75% off. All right. I'll see y'all soon.